All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to call this meeting to order, the meeting of the City Council of the City of Paris. It's now 5:30 on Monday, May 14th, 2018. Pastor Bob Bush will give the invocation, and then we will have the Pledge of Allegiance led by Ms. Drake. Everyone stand, please.
Let us pray. We address you as our Lord and invoke you to hear our petition on behalf of all our citizens and our concerns. Only let us not forget that as we seek to understand the needs of the least among us as though it was our concern, and as we remember that though we gain the world but are wary not to lose our soul, we claim this time of meeting in your name. I pray all this in your Son, our Lord Jesus Christ's name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. As a citizens forum, persons desiring to address the council must limit their presentation to no more than 2 minutes. Unless an item is posted on the agenda, the Texas Open Meetings Act prohibits the council from responding to any comments other than to refer the matter to a future agenda, to an existing policy, or to a staff person with specific factual information. Claims against the city, council members, or employees, as well as individual personal appeals, are not appropriate for citizens forum. The citizens forum is now open. Sign in, Ms. Gladfelter, identify yourself, and you have 2 minutes.
Good afternoon. Recently, I made a request with Ms. Ellis for information on the new revisions, the incentives that were being offered American Spiral Wire. Apparently, PEDC sent the request to the Attorney General because I guess they wanted to see if they could get out giving me the information, or they didn't want me to know what the new incentives were that they added on to sweeten the deal. So I took the old incentive papers here and I did a little mathematics. They're hiring 100 workers, and each one of these workers will cost the city taxpayers $46,300 to employ. That's each worker, and that will be the cost of taxpayers per worker for this plant. You add in what the county's subsidizing, and it's $23,650 additional per worker. Basically, we're asking American Spiral Weld to come here and take $69,950 per worker to employ each person at this new plant. I don't want American Spiral Weld here, and they're going to be called tomorrow and told this, and I'm going to explain why. And the other advice I would give for American Spiral Weld is, don't come here and take my money. Come here and spend your money. I want your money. As a taxpayer, I don't want to subsidize any of your workers. And now, PEDC is offering them more. This is an old figure. It's going to be more money. It's going to be anywhere from $80,000 to $100,000 per worker. They get a 10-year tax break. They're getting free land. They're getting $2.5 million up front. You know, I hope there's no Republicans here, because this seems awfully socialist to me. You have a good day.
Anyone else wishing to address the council, please step up. And state your name and address, please, and sign in.
My name is Miss Carolyn Williams, and I just come to address the upkeeping on the lots and stuff, because I keep getting charged for lots that's not even mine. And the lot that I have, I told them that I have a 0 turn, and since they did the new lot, they put curves and no driveways. So I have to come all the way around from another street to another street just to mow my lot. And they say they're gonna fix it, but I'm still getting fines. Anyway, another one that up and down 11th Northwest Street, the grass is still high, you can't see the railroad sign, and also the electric company came in and put in new poles, and upon putting in new poles, they took the streets sign down. Those have never been replaced, and I like to see that done. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak to the council? Seeing none, the citizens forum is now closed, which brings us to the consent agenda. Does any of the council members have anything in the consent agenda that they wish to remove for additional discussion? I'll entertain a motion
I'll make the motion.
to accept them.
Second. Accept the
All right, all in
consent
favor?
agenda. Aye.
No opposed? All right, brings us to the regular agenda. Item number 11, discuss and act on a resolution canvassing the returns for the general municipal election held on May 5th, 2018 for council districts 2, 3, and 6, declaring the winner in said election, acknowledging the results of prior council action, declaring the candidate as elected to office for council district 1 as a result of having been unopposed for election to office, declaring the terms of office, making other findings and provisions related to the subject, and providing an effective date. So, Janice.
Okay. First of all, Renee Stone was unopposed in District 1. In District 2, Ed Darnell received 4 votes, Don McNaught received 16, and Derek Hughes received 22. In District 3, Billy Trinato received 73, and Jane Hellberg received 52. In District 6, Cleon Holmes received 103 votes, and Clayton Pilgrim received 176 votes. So I'm asking you all to approve the resolution declaring Renee Stone, Derek Hughes, Billy Trinato, and Clayton Pilgrim elected to office.
All right. Any discussion on this one? I don't believe so. I'll make a motion that we approve the resolution declaring Derek T. Hughes elected to serve as city council member for District 2, Billy Trinato elected to serve as city council member for District 3, and Clayton Pilgrim to serve as city council member for District 6.
I second it.
All in favor? Unanimous. And we're going to recognize the outgoing council members for their service, and if they'll step forward, well, I want to personally thank all 3 of these. I'm sorry Ms. Lancaster is not here today, but it's been a pleasure working with all 3 of them that are leaving the council, and it's kind of a lot of work, sometimes a thankless job, but they did it with incredible dedication to the public and to their call to service. So I really appreciate all 3 of these people, and the ones that are here, I'd like for them to come step up and we'll award them plaques. Drake, thank you so much for your service.
Thank you. It was a pleasure. Thank you.
So much. And thank you for serving as mayor pro tem.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Mr. Jenkins, thank you so much. I appreciate it. All right, item number 13, issuance of certificate of election, administer statement of elected officer to council members, and administer oath of office to newly elected council members.
Okay, and if you all new ones will meet me right in front, we'll administer the oath to you, Mr. Trinato. Yes, sir. of the office of council member, the city of Paris, state of Texas, and will to the best of my ability preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution, the laws of the United States, and of this state, and the charter and ordinances of this city. I further solemnly swear that I have not directly nor indirectly paid, offered, or promised to pay, contributed, nor promised to contribute any money or valuable thing, or promised any public office or employment as a reward for the giving or withholding a vote at the election to which I was elected. So help me God. Congratulations.
Thank you, thank you.
New council members, step on up behind here and take your seats, please. Or as soon as we get a photo, I guess. Okay. Got a sign.
Thank you.
Fill some empty chairs.
Welcome to the council. Thank you. Linda Knox. Congratulations. Renee. Thank you. Nice to see you again. Congratulations. Yeah. Derek, welcome to the council.
What do you say?
Welcome back.
Thank you, thank you.
They'll have our nameplates in the correct.
Yeah, they'll get the nameplates next time, and it doesn't matter. We'll let Billy have his seat back. All right. So, welcome to the old council members and the new council members. And on the first order of business, we're going to elect the mayor and mayor pro tem. And I think I'm gonna request people raise hands, and I'll choose people. Anybody want to nominate mayor? Mr. Tornado.
I nominate Steve Clifford for mayor because Steve's leadership ability has been instrumental in the city moving forward. I believe he should continue as mayor.
Thank you. All right, well, I guess I'll second myself. All in favor of me for mayor, please raise your hands. All opposed? Okay. I will be continue being mayor. And I'd like to pick myself. I'd like to nominate Mr. Hughes for mayor pro tem.
Second.
All in favor of Mr. Hughes for mayor pro tem, raise your hand. All opposed? No one else. Okay, congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 15, discuss and act on an ordinance authorizing the issuance of a solid waste collection permit to Bradley Pennington, DBA County Trash Service, LLC.
The city regulates anyone who collects industrial or commercial trash, solid waste. This is a new company that's gone through the application process and all the things they're supposed to do, and so the council needs to adopt it by ordinance.
Okay. Any discussion on this item? Then I'll make a motion authorizing the issuance of a solid waste collection permit to Bradley Pennington County Trash Service, LLC. I have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Anyone opposed? No. Item number 16, discuss, receive public comment, and act on a Parks, Recreation, and Open Space Master Plan update. Mr. Godwin, you want to go over this with us?
Yes, sir. We did talk about this, I think, 2 or 3 meetings ago for the returning council members, but we adopted a Parks Master Plan in 2013. The plan is typically good for about 10 years. We need to do a 5-year update. This is the 5-year update. We've been working on it for several months. That includes, of course, in your agenda packets, the items in blue, an update of what has happened and so forth, and kind of some changing priorities here and there. A lot of the priorities have remained the same. We've gotten public input from a number of different sources, not as much as we'd like, but this evening we want to open it up to the public to get additional feedback and any feedback from you. And then this evening we'd like to adopt the revised plan if we're ready to do that, so that we can forward that to the Texas Parks and Wildlife Department. We do hope to apply for grants. Grants are due no later than October 1st for outdoor and indoor recreational opportunities, and we'll need to get that done much sooner. So we're hoping to adopt tonight if you're ready.
I had a couple of questions. Is this binding in any way, or is it
No.
more of
It's
just a
strictly
general
a plan. It's
So
strictly a plan, absolutely.
if there's some nitty-gritty things about this that we decide to change, we're not
And that's often the case,
hamstrung by
absolutely.
this. I had a couple of questions. I found, I think, a mistake in it.
Well, darn.
Yeah, I know. It says that and I want to bring up the Frisbee golf. It says the city's thinking about putting that at Lake Crook, but the same plan says it's going to Dragon Park, and I think there's only one. It says Dragon Park plan says relocate Frisbee golf to Dragon Park. I think
Right.
that's,
What's happened there is we've changed our mind 4 or 5 times.
Okay.
And so that's why it
And
happened.
I wanted to bring up, too, it was drawn to my attention that the Rotary might be interested, and I forwarded that over to Mr. Godwin, but Rotary might be interested in helping out with the equipment maintenance, and they want to see this utilized. Their suggestion was keep it where it is, or perhaps move it to the Civic Center. I don't know how that works into the plan. But certainly the plan says we were thinking about taking it to Lake Crook. So that's something that's up in the air, but I think we need to talk with Rotary. We might get some volunteer help.
And what we'll do is, with your permission, we'll just change the wording on both of those places so that it says it will be moved to an appropriate location.
Okay, great. I had a couple other questions. On the Leon Williams Park, the old Record Park, are we planning, I see side amenities and a few other things there, existing the playground, or what's our plans for there?
Replace the existing playground. It's old and outdated, so we want to replace that completely and add it, make it bigger. We'll replace the trail and some of the sidewalk that's been taken out with the road work recently, and then other just kind of random stuff, nothing specific. But the big thing we want to do is replace the playground because it's just old and outdated, like the one at Oak and Wade were.
Okay, and there's no plans for doing anything at Wisefield?
Wisefield, the one thing we have done so far is we put soccer goals
I
out
saw
there,
that.
and they've been very popular. In fact, we've had a waiting list during soccer season to use those for soccer because it's become, numbers-wise, it's a more popular sport for kids than baseball and softball now.
And the field's smooth, so they don't
Right, works out
hurt their
really well for
ankles, so
younger
that's-
kids.
That's good. I wanted 2 other questions. It says a water feature at Wade Park. Are we thinking about putting another one of those spray parks out there?
Yes, that was one of the original suggestions from the consultant back in 2013. Of course, that was before the Methodist Church built theirs with assistance from the city, of course. We don't know that we need too many, so we changed the language from spray park to water feature. It might be a
Okay.
fountain, might be a spray park, might be something else. We don't have the funding for that anytime soon anyway.
Okay, that makes sense.
Just don't want to lose the idea of it.
Okay. And finally, I had one other question. Does the city own the roadside park over there at 41st Southwest, the road, that little park there?
There by the Mexican restaurant, Jalisco's?
yes.
Yes, we do. We took that
Is-
over about 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah, is there any plan to do anything with that, or is that just leave it as?
No.
People see it as they come in, and
Right, we keep it cleaned up, repaved it back a few years ago and so forth, but everything you see there, that was the entire master plan. We took that from TxDOT, so.
Okay, appreciate it. Those are all the questions I had. Anyone has any questions? Raise, Mr. Tornado?
No. I can. Okay. I had a couple questions. Regarding the information, I know that you put together committees with staff people
Right.
with regard to you know, looking at the parks. And have you thought about maybe some of the neighbors that live around these parks also giving some input? Or do the staff get the input from the neighbors that might be using the park?
As time's gone by, we've gotten input from neighbors, we've gotten input from participants and so forth
Okay.
and not in any formal way. You don't want to overskew something like that with neighbors, because the neighbors aren't the only ones using parks, and that's a little bit more so with neighborhood parks than for community parks, for example. One of the things we talked about a lot with Culbertson Park, because it used to be more of a community park, it's becoming a neighborhood park.
Okay.
So we try to talk to a different group of people depending on what type of park it is.
Okay, good, good. All right, thank you.
Okay, John, since we're making plans to move our parks and recreation facilities forward, I'd like to see a Parks Rec director named. That's what their job is. Okay, now we're gonna have new facilities, improved facilities, and I believe we ought to host some of these athletic events. You know, we're getting a new pool, understand, you know, and these parks, you know, for softball and volleyball, and other cities host these tournaments. You know, and we could do the same thing. We've got great parks out here, by the Civic Center, and I'd like to see that, you know, built up. And I think if we had a good Parks Rec director, and that's all your job is to do, is to get these coordinated and get these teams started in school after summer's over. You know, they say, well, summer's over. Give them something to do. And I think it would work, because I've been through this, and like going back to whenever I was growing up, and we'd go to Culbertson. Well, we had a coach out there, Coach Nance, from about 9 to 12, you heard me say, and he took care of the kids. We played ball, whatever, and you know, we just got it going and come back in the afternoon. He wasn't there, but we had all the equipment. And that's what I'd like to see done, to have a program for the kids. And what I'd like to see now is let's get some of these splash, what you call them, splash gardens or whatever.
Right.
And some of these on the west side.
Right.
We don't, you know, they've got to go clear across town to do this. And, you know, I think we could put one at Western Oaks, but I want to see this part of town be built up, you know, with the playground equipment, the picnic areas for the kids, for the parents. I think down at, is it Record Park that needs a lot of, does it have the awning and all that? And I hadn't been down there in a while, and, you know, and new picnic tables and chairs, so that the parents will get out with the small kids. And I know you said we're gonna have better equipment too, so that's a good thing. But I just like to see, you know, we get the citizens involved.
Right.
That we have maybe one person from each district. You know, what do you want in your district for your kids? And a younger person, you know, not a grandpa like me. But I'd like to see that done, and we could all work together. And that's what I want us to see do on these parks. And like I say, getting a good director that could utilize it, we could utilize it. There would be set up these programs as far as the swim meets, volleyball, whatever, softball. I'd like to see that happen. And we could do it, because I've been to other cities in smaller towns than us, and boy, they can put on them softball tournaments. They got great fields, and we got great fields. I want to utilize them.
And we've met with, talking about softball, we've met with the VCC folks a few different times about participating possibly with, you know, we've got one softball field out there that still doesn't have lights, adding lights to that, and we've got that in our capital improvements budget that you'll be getting next month. And so we're kind of working on some of those things, but it's slow because of funding, obviously.
And he said, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Well, I was just gonna say, a lot of cities do have parks advisory boards. You know, you have other advisory boards here. You kind of talked about a committee or something. That's not uncommon for city our size or larger to have a parks advisory board. And sometimes that's a good way to get input to those folks, and then, you know, they in turn have good ideas that they can pass on to the staff.
Okay, and what is that golf game you was talking about? The Frisbees?
The Frisbee golf.
You know, and I got
Disc
a little.
golf.
Disc golf.
Disc
yeah.
golf. It's Frisbee.
Okay,
trademark.
whatever. I got this email from a man that he plays out here. He'd heard he was going to move it to Lake Crook, and he doesn't want. They want it. His team wants it out here where it's at. Leave it alone. But I like to see more stuff on the west side.
Okay.
All right. Anyone else have any discussion or comments? And I'd like to open this up for public comments. Anyone has any comments about the proposed plan, feel free to step up and talk to us about it.
The only comment I have is I would like to see the parking improved for the soccer fields that are
Identify
down.
yourself. And,
Oh, Linda Vandiver.
I know, but go ahead, for the record.
For the parking for the soccer fields that are in Dragon Park,
I don't go to the soccer games particularly, but I've driven down that street numerous times and seen cars parked along the sides of the roads. And not only is that dangerous for the kids getting in and out of the cars, but it's dangerous for the adults too and other people driving there. If there's not enough parking there, it seems like they need to increase the parking. If there is enough parking there, then they need to make an ordinance against parking on the sides of the roads there.
Is there any plans for parking, John?
There's not, the actual Optimist Club fields, the actual fields are operated by the Optimist Club, so that's their thing, but obviously that's something we'll look into working with them somehow to do that, because we don't want to leave them hanging. We sure don't want unsafe areas for kids, so I've got that on my list now.
Okay.
I thought it was Kiwanis.
Actually, Parish Soccer
Kiwanis.
Association, if I can get you that contact
Okay,
information.
yeah, who did I say? Optimist?
You said
That's
Optimist.
baseball, yeah, I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
it used to be
right.
Kiwanis, but now it's
Yeah.
Parish Soccer
Yeah,
Association.
I'm sorry.
Anyone else want to discuss publicly about the parks plan? All right, well, if there's no further discussion, I'll make a motion that we approve the revised plan with the changes that we discussed with John a few minutes ago.
I'll second you.
All right, all in favor? Anyone opposed? No. All right. And item number 17, discuss and authorize the city manager to execute a contract for professional services with Tool Design Group to develop the downtown visioning plan for an amount not to exceed $90,005.
Carla Easton, city engineer, is going to address this one.
Hi, thank you, Mayor and Council. In February, the city manager had he hosted a meeting with downtown business owners and property owners. I feel like I'm not speaking into this. Can you hear me okay? To basically give an update of the improvements that have been made and some of the planning efforts that go on to try to keep downtown vibrant and thriving. At that meeting, we received a lot of input for how do we get a professional involved to create a more significant change. You know, how do we take the next step? And places like Sulphur Springs were thrown out. And what do we need to do differently to create that type of space? So in response to that, we reached out to Tool Design Group, who is they're a planning and engineering firm. They're based out of Orlando, Florida, but they do work all over the country, all over the world for that matter. And they focus on livable, walkable communities and a lot of downtown revitalization projects. And at that meeting, there was a group of stakeholders that were really committed to funding an effort should the city not have funds to hire these guys. And so they, after the February meeting, went and fundraised, and they put together $80,000, or just more than that, in support of this. And Tool Design Group has provided a proposal for $90,005 to come and do it's a two-part charrette, which is a series of interviews with stakeholders and public meetings, public hearings to get public input, and then basically create a plan or a vision for our downtown and provide that to staff and the city council, and we'll get a report at the end of it. So this agenda item would kickstart that process and allow us to move forward with the contract with Tool Design Group. I realize that's not very detailed. There's lots of, I don't know how to summarize this. So
$80,000 has been raised by donations. Who donated this money for this?
I can pull that up real quick. I do have a list. Many of the banks: First Federal, Paris Downtown Association, Chamber of Commerce, Lamar National, People's Bank, Guarantee Bank, Liberty Bank, and then there's some individuals,
Okay, great.
individual
And
donations.
you're asking the council to chip in $10,000 to bring it over the top.
Yes, the $10,000 would be the city's contribution, and the rest has already been privately funded and is sitting waiting for this contract.
Okay. Anyone have any questions for Ms. Easton?
Do we have a vision or a plan already, or that's what they're coming to establish that?
Well, we've got a plan that the staff has been working on for a couple years now in a group. We've all met monthly to put together ideas and talk about improvements and see if there's some small projects that we can either do in-house or programs that Sherry can take to the Main Street Advisory Board and things like that. We haven't put it all together and presented it as a formal plan. One of the challenges that we have in our downtown is every road, every street through our downtown is technically a TxDOT business highway. So we're limited in what we can change without TxDOT's blessing. And part of TxDOT blessing anything, they're going to require a traffic study. So if we really want to achieve any whole-scale changes through our downtown, we really need TxDOT involvement. We need them to sign off on the improvements before we can ever proceed with the project to make any of those changes. And anything that affects the traffic lane, parking, signal design, anything like that. And one of the major complaints that we get is that traffic moves too quickly and it's not safe to walk around. So in order to really affect real change like that, that's one of the changes. So we do have a basic concept of things that staff has been working on, but we feel like to make that next step, we really need some professionals to help us get there. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Anyone else have any questions? Thank you. Well, I'll make a motion. We authorize city manager to execute a contract for the professional services with Tool Design Group to develop a downtown visioning plan for an amount not to exceed $90,005.
I'll second.
All in favor? No one opposed. And that brings us to the final item. Consider and approve future events for city council and or city staff. Anybody have anything for future events? Not? I make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?